Welcome back, everybody. Today, I want to talk about gambling. Gambling is an amazing thing. I quite enjoy it myself. I've heard many people along the way throughout my life that says they do not like to gamble at all. But then when I hear about their hobbies, what they like to collect, or what they like to do with their money, I'm like, you're basically gambling. You just don't want to admit it or don't see it as that. So today, let's figure out if what you are doing in TCGs is gambling. So here you go. I had this comment on here. I'm going to blow it up here for you. Do you consider box packs opening as gambling? And I wrote back to that 100%. So there are a few different definitions of gambling. I, of course, went the easy route. I went to Wikipedia, which all research and reports these days are done. So you can get a lot of things up Wikipedia. It doesn't mean it's always right, but I will read it for you here. Gambling, also known as betting or gaming, is the wagering of something of value, thus stakes, on a random event with the intent of winning something else of value, where instances of strategy are discounted. So gambling thus requires three elements to be present: consideration, which is an amount wagered; risk, which is chance; and a prize. Now, there are many forms of gambling, and in a way, you can almost see a lot of things you do in life as gambling, right? I will eventually, I work from home now, but back in my day when I used to be able to go to an office, I would get into a car, and you know what? I'm gambling because there might not be an instance where I make it home because maybe I get hit by a bus. But in that way, you'd say that's a little bit of a gamble if I'm going to go out to work that day. Here's another example of gambling: being boozled. And this is, of course, if you have not seen it yet, where you have beans, and there are some good tasting beans, and there are some disgusting tasting beans, right? You could get toasted marshmallow, or you could get stink bug. You could get birthday cake or dishwasher, right? And in that way, that's some sort of gamble. But it's all something that you're not really wagering. You're not wagering money on it, which is what the normal definition in people's mind. If you like walked up to 100 people, they're going to say gambling is when you take money to win money or possibly lose it. And most people think you will actually lose money. But I'm going to show you something else here. So remember again, amount wagered, chance, and a prize. So recently, if you have not heard, I did go to Japan, and in Japan, they have a lot of these gachapons on here. And what you do here is you take money, put it in the little machine, crank it, you win a prize. So there you go. You have an amount risk, there's some chance to it, and at the end of the day, you're going to get a prize. I don't know too many people that have walked up to these machines and said, I want any prize from the machine because all of it's awesome. I have not heard that. I went to Japan with three other people, and they specifically were looking for one or two prizes inside of that machine. So then when they pulled out the prize that obviously that they didn't want, they were a little bit disappointed. So gachapons, that to me is a form of gambling. It's not just a trade of money for money. You're getting something at the end of the day, but in the end, it might not be something that you actually wanted. Now I'm going to give you another example. I actually wrote this on Twitter when I was in Japan because it was very interesting to me. I didn't imagine this would come up, but here you go. This is the Quintessential Quintuplets. This is the Weiss Schwarz card holders. And one of the things I want you to see is there is a price tag on there, and that price tag says 980 yen. Now, when I was over there, the store that actually had this for sale, all five of them in a pack for 980 yen, they had a gachapon. And in that gachapon were the exact same card holders there. And they were for 500 yen. You know, put 500 yen in there, spin the sucker, and out comes one of these ladies. So if you do the math on that, if you had God luck and did not pull a duplicate, 5 times 500, 2,500 yen. Obviously, in that case, if you wanted all five, it would make sense to pull this $980 pack and buy it. Now, There's another thing. I like Miku. Miku's my favorite. So if you only had 500, well, let's not say that. Let's say you had enough money. Let's say 2,500 yen. Would you take your 2,500 yen and stick it in the machine? If you would be lucky enough to pull that first one out, the one that I wanted would have been Miku, I could have got spent 500 and saved the other 2,000, right? In that way, I wouldn't have to spend the 480 yen on this pack because then I had to figure out what I'm going to do with the girls that I don't like. Actually, I'm going to keep them all, obviously, because they all go together. But you get my point. Do you gamble 500 yen hoping that you get that 1 in 5 chance of the girl you want? Or do you go the safe route and buy the 980 pack? And that way, it's a form of gambling because I could go with the guaranteed outcome here, or I could just risk 500 and hope for the best. I ended up obviously picking the pack because it makes the most sense, and most of the people out on Twitter decided to go with that decision as well. They said that makes a lot of sense just to buy it all, but it's not as fun, right? Gambling has an element of fun. When you put that money in that gachapon, there is an air of funness to that. And because of that, I'm going to go over here to another comment that I had. So in that same comment train, there was another person here that said, I would consider box packs as soft gambling as you don't lose your money entirely and you get something of value out of the booster pack. So obviously inside of a booster pack, you could get a foil. And what you can do with that is you could collect it, you could play with it, you could trade it, you can sell it. Now, I want to show you another example here of gambling. And I know this is the form that most people see gambling as. Money for money. This is an online casino app. It's free. You can see up here, it says the amount of currency I have is 221 million actually. And obviously that's not real money because I don't have $221 million. Now, in the bottom left is the bet size, which is 500,000. Obviously, when I press the spin button, something's going to happen. I'm going to bet 500,000 and 45 coins. It is either going to give me back zero or I'm going to win some sort of money. So I'm going to press this, and obviously this is gambling, so I don't know what's about to happen here. Great, this is what I wanted to happen. Now, what did you see happen? I bet 500,000 coins and I ended up winning 142,870. And the fun part about casinos and slots and that is the thought of winning, because when you think about how much I bet to how much I won, 142,000, I technically lost, right? I lost 357,130. Let's go with that. That sounds about right to me. So I lost that many coins, but technically I won. So if I flash back over here to this comment, it's saying I end up with a card that I could either play, collect, trade, or sell. And I will say like that. What did you see with the slot machine? Can you apply it to here? What I see here is opening packs is a form of gambling. I think we tell ourselves that because we end up with something physical at the end of the day, that, it's not as hardcore as gambling with money for money. And I will say, that thought makes somewhat sense, but then I think about cards, right? Like when you open a pack of Weiss Schwarz card, you're gonna get commons, uncommons, a climax, and you may end up with you'll get like some sort of foil, right? Maybe you get a rare, double rare, SR, SP, whatever you want. So how easy is it to sell some of those cards? Let's say I open Hololive 2. I get Gura double rare. Probably easy to actually sell. But what happens if I were to get a rare that's not used? And let's say it's worth $1 for that pack, right? So in essence, on that pack price, you've definitely lost at that point. You do have some cards which you can actually try to sell. Now that's the hard part, right? You took money bought a pack, ended up with cards, and this card may be really hard to actually sell. So to convert that over into money is way harder than an actual slot machine. And I'm not telling you that it's better to gamble on a slot machine than on a pack of cards, but you see where I'm going with here. Like, in a way, when you open a pack of cards, depending on the card that comes out of there, you probably potentially just lost all your money on that one. You do have cards in the end, but at the same time, I want you to see that even though you have something physical, it is pretty much a gamble, right? You took your money and you traded it for something else. There was a chance on getting like an SP, getting a card worth hundreds of dollars, but in the end, that didn't work out because there is chance involved here. Now, I like the gambling better just because how easy it is, right? Like you take your money, you either lose or win some money, but in the end, you still get money. I could take that money out of the casino and actually buy something else. Where with the cards, though, you're going to take the cards and you're going to try to sell it. You're going to have to post it somewhere. You're going to have to ship it somewhere. You're going to hope that the person that actually bought it uh, receives it, it's undamaged, and they don't scam you in any other way. So there is gambling involved when you are dealing with TCGs. I hope everybody understands that just because you're not taking money and just getting money back, you're taking money and getting something physical back, there is gambling actually involved in that. And one of the things I want to point out here is you could avoid this by making a budget. So here's an actual budget. Let me put it over here. I had it on the wrong screen. That was a little egg on my face there. But one of the big things I talk about with budgets, I've shown this before. I had this other channel that I put like 4 videos out there about creating this budget using this template. It's out on there. But one of the big things in here is entertainment, putting out different buckets for what you have to do every month. So here are the total monthly bills. This is obviously sample numbers. This is not my real numbers here, but you can see I write mortgage, car insurance. So you pay everything that you need to pay every month. And then after all of that, you can go and look into doing other things. Paying for birthdays, paying for entertainment, vacations, cell phones, Mother Day, Father's Day, Easter, Christmas. So it is the budget I created, this template I created is very robust. It's one of those ones where as long as you are being realistic and sticking to it, you're going to find so much peace in knowing that you're not going to be worried about money. You don't have to stick money in the envelopes or anything like that to try to keep track of it. And depending on where you are in life, you're able to take some extra money and buy TCGs. And that way you're still gambling, but at the same time, you're doing it responsibly. You're still having fun and you're not going broke doing it, which is what I've been telling people all along is you need to make a budget and don't go over your budget on stuff like this. This is going to be very important coming up with the economy doing bad and people spending less on extra stuff like vacations, like outdoor activities, activities outside of their home, right? It's one of those ones where you need to make sure that you're doing everything responsibly because at the same time, we don't know what tomorrow holds when it comes to inflation. $4 gas around me at this point. I know other people are seeing $5 gas. So this is just prices are going to go up. And you need to be prepared for that. And I don't want you thinking that these cards right here can get you out of any sort of debt issues, that these cards are not gambling, because it is. It is. We all take a gamble every day, whether it's going outside, eating some disgusting beans, or hoping that we pull a nice signature card from the Quintessential Quintuplets. So if you do have any questions for me, let me bring this up here. I did not have this ready. There it is. if you have any questions about budgets, about life, about anything at all, please let me know. You can find me here. There's my email address. Here is my mailing address. You can find me on Twitter or X if you need to buy cards off TCG Player. There's the link. And if you are a channel member and are not part of the Discord, please let me know and I will shoot a link over to you. But with that, as always, have fun and be happy and don't spend anything outside of your budget. Have a good one.